What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Logician Tim Learns. That's right. With me, your host, Logician Tim. This is where you get to watch me go from a total gaming newbie to a more informed gaming newbie. How about that? What is going on, everybody? Joe over on Facebook says hello. Scott says it's dinner time. That's right. And Angela, if you're watching, hello out there. Mitchell, Justin over there in the Facebook, Misfits of Tabletop Facebook page. Good to see you guys. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. We are going to be going over some more of this Judge Dredd, and tonight specifically, we're going through the character creation, and the genre is pretty darn cool, I got to admit, and the different types of characters that you can play is really, really interesting. So, what we're going to do tonight is just kind of dive into character creation and figure out how to do it. How do they teach us how to do this in this books, right? Let's go ahead and flip open our page. Now, just to start off, like full disclosure, right? Because I don't hold back, my opinions. I'm an expert on my opinion, not much on anything else, but on my opinion, I'm an expert. Let me just start off by saying this is the character creation in this book has got to be one of the more difficult chapters that I've read to date as far as character creation goes. A lot of the sections kind of feel out of place, and some seem like maybe they were just forced in the character creation section. I don't know. I really feel like the chapter really could use a fresh set of eyes on it. Maybe somebody that hasn't, that knows nothing about the game, and have them read it and make some notes to kind of make it easier for people for further releases. I'm going to do my best to kind of piece it together for you, though, and so that it makes some sense. If you just read the chapter, it's kind of easy to get lost. If you read it, then go back and kind of follow the steps, and kind of flipping back and forth, because they do refer to the pages on the steps. Then, so the steps kind of tell you where to go. So if you just go back and follow the steps, you can get it done. Just have some patience with it the first time around. And I guarantee you that after you do it, like create one character, it's going to be really, really easy for you. So, but it was a little bit complicated. So, right from the get go, for the first time around, I had to go through it a couple times. So, hi, Angela. Yeah, good to see you over on YouTube. DJ, good to see you. Jake, Nolan, what is up, my dudes? All right. So to start off, they kind of say it's a really simple process, although there is a lot of information to kind of sift through. Basically, the quick boil down is that you're going to choose a species, you're going to choose your 5 careers, a couple of your exploits and traits, and then you're going to equip your character. So it sounds pretty easy. But let's dive right in. Here are the 9 steps to creating a character in the Judge Dredd RPG. So there's 9 steps to this. So first, you're going to note your starting attributes, which are, you're going to get 3 for each attribute except for psionics and reputation. Those are going to start at 0. Okay. Then we're going to choose a species. Then we're going to choose a hook and note it in your descriptor. You're going to choose your 5 careers. You're going to select aim or feint. You're going to choose one trait based on your highest or lowest attribute and note that in your descriptor. You're going to calculate your derived statistics. You're going to determine your character's age. And then finally, you're going to equip your character with armor and weapons and equipment and so on. Right? So those are your 9 basic steps. And so I'm going to dive into each one of these separately. Stop me if you have any questions on it. I'll do my best to answer those. So let's start with the starting attributes. There are 8 primary attributes and 2 secondary attributes in Judge Dredd. The primary attributes are strength, agility, endurance, willpower, intuition, logic, charisma, and luck. Okay, so those are the 8 attributes in the game. The secondary attributes are reputation and psionics. Okay, so when you're first starting your character, each attribute is going to start out at 3 points, except for reputation and psionics, and those are going to start out at 0. So what you want to do is mark those down. Mark down each attribute with 3, except for psionics and reputation, and mark those with a 0. Just mark them down in pencil. Because those are going to change once we get further along in character creation. Okay, so you're starting off with this, and then we're going to add to it. All right, the number's going to change. Then next, we're going to choose our species, and they have quite a few different species that you can play in Judge Dredd, and it sounds really fun. You can be a human, you can be a clone, a mutant, a robot, a chimp, a gorilla, or an orangutan. And it just seems like really awesome to me. Each one of these have, they kind of give you their own different starting attributes, like, and of course, different sizes, skills, and exploits that they offer. So it's pretty neat. Like for human, if human's going to give you your size as medium, right? And then you're going to get to add +2 to your luck, and then +2 to any other attribute that you choose, and then +1 to another attribute of your choosing, okay? And then you can choose any of the skills that the humans, that's listed under humans. And then you have the exploits of varied and enduring. And so like varied, here's an example of an exploit. Humans boast more variation within their species than most. Add 2 to any attribute and add a further +1 other attribute noted above. Right? Or enduring is humans may not be the fastest or the strongest, but they're known for their resilience. Humans get a +1 to their 1d6 die roll to shake off a temporary condition. So, so you get to have those type of exploits and those skills, and you're just going to add those to your character sheet as you're going along. So you start off with 3, say in luck, and then you're going to add 2 more to that luck. So now your luck is going to be 5, and then you're going to add 2 more to any other attribute, and then 1 more to a third attribute. And that's if you pick human. Now, if you pick a clone, or if you want to be a gorilla or a chimp or something like that, then those are all going to have their own unique, sizes or skills, exploits, and starting attributes for you. So it's going to range wildly on depending on what species you pick. So I think that's kind of fun. It makes character uniqueness a thing. I kind of like that. And then we're going to switch to creating a hook. And at the top of your character sheet, they want you to come up with what they call a descriptor. And this is a sentence that kind of describes your character. And it's in the format, and it sounds goofy when I read it like this, but this is the format. An age, trait, species, career, who, hook. What, Tim? All right, let me give you an example. So it would be a young, reckless, mutant burglar who has a problem with authority. Okay, so age is young, trait is reckless, species is mutant, career is burglar, and then the hook is who has a problem with authority. Okay, so that's how that sentence would read. And this one's kind of it was weird because we went from page 18 to page 24 when we're talking about choosing our species, and now we're flashing back to page 19 to talk about hooks. And so that's why I was saying some of the stuff is just kind of out of order. Now, most of this sentence that they want you, this descriptor sentence that they want you to fill out, is going to basically fill itself out naturally as you're doing your character creation. So like your age and your career and all that kind of stuff, your traits and your species, all that you're kind of choosing as you go, except for the hook. And this is something that you get to choose. So the last thing in the sentence was, has a problem with authority. And so you kind of get to make up your own, and it can be anything. And it's designed basically to round out the character with like personalities, interest, or hobbies. And you actually do get a little bit of a bonus when a skill comes up that's kind of related to your hook. And so so you kind of choose that wisely, and you can actually get some additional dice to your pool if something relates to your hook. So some other examples that they include are like who enjoys hard liquor. I like that. Who doesn't like hard liquor? Has a taste for romance, or who collects insects as a hobby. And I think the point here is that if someone were to walk up to the table and when you're playing, and you could read them this one sentence, and they should be able to get a feel of, what your character is, what it does, and something about that character's personality. And I think that's kind of the whole idea behind this descriptor sentence. And I've seen some other ones that were pretty goofy in other RPGs where they kind of do this descriptor sentence. I kind of like the way they did it in this one. It's really easy. It's not like I don't have to like be an English major, have a master's in English or anything like that to figure it out. It was really quick. And I like the way that kind of gives you a little bit of a bonus too to your roles. I think it's kind of cool. Next, we're going to start choosing our careers. All right, and remember, you get to choose 5 careers. If I read everything correctly, you're going to choose 5 careers, and they have a whole bunch of them listed in the book. And the careers are broken up into 3 categories. And so you're going to either be a citizen, a perp, well, like a criminal, what they call a criminal, or a judge careers, right? So you can be citizen, perp, or judge. And if you're a civilian or a perp, then you can even choose from the juvie careers listed. It's like a juvenile careers. And so like you could be a juvenile delinquent or just a juvie or a juvie gang. And they each kind of come with their, their own little kind of benefits to you, right? Judges now, they're a little bit different. They have their own, they're more rigid, okay? So they will work in like one of the core divisions, and they kind of specialize in gaining like these very specialized skills in order to help fight crime, right? Like, so one of them might be more of a medic, healer type, and others have their own type of specialties, right? But each career that you choose is going to add to your attributes, right? So you're going to choose from 2 of the available skills in each career and choose 1 career exploit. And I think this means 1 from each career. And let's just give an example of this. And so let's say we're doing the juvie gang. It doesn't have any prerequisites, so that's good. It's going to add strength, intelligence, charisma, and reputation, 1 point to each of those. The skill choices are brawling, gambling, knives, local knowledge, running, and trivia. And so it says here that we can choose 2 of the available skills in each career. So if we had this as one of our 5 careers, we would choose 2 of those skills in there, and then 1 of the career exploits. And so has 3 exploits in this career: Shiv, Stone Cold Stare, and then Me and My Homies. What does that do? Me and My Homies. When you use Stone Cold Stare ability, you can affect 1 target within 30 feet of each member of your own party that is within 30 feet. Okay, what is Stone Cold Stare? You can have an intimidation presence and are able to mess with people's heads. You can make a rep mental attack against the target, inflicting the afraid condition on a success. So that's pretty cool. So you can pick one of these exploits from this career, and then when you're picking your other careers, you can grab stuff off of there too. So you can really customize that character and make it kind of whatever you want. So if you want to be this type of burglar or this type of civilian or whatever, you can very much specialize in using these exploits and stuff and skills from all these careers to mix and match and really make something very unique. And I really like that idea. I love this idea of customization. Hey, Sean, what is up, my dude, over on Facebook? What's the name of our gang, Tim? I don't know, man. What is our gang? Nolan says, do the careers have, Nolan over on the, I've got to remember to do all this. Nolan on the Misfits of Tabletop Facebook group says, do the careers have stat prerequisites? I do see where it says prerequisites. I don't see any that has any yet. Okay, here's one. So if you want to be a boffin, whatever that is, they're skilled scientists and are some of the most sought after citizens in the city. So if you're a boffin, you're the scientist guy. Prerequisite is 1 scientific skill. So yes, some of them do have prerequisite skills that you have to acquire. That you have to get, right? So if you don't have that scientific skill, I guess you couldn't choose that as a past career. And so some of these just have like gaming, like the general skill of gaming. This one has any perp career, so you'd have to have a prerequisite of a some type of perp career that you have to do. So yes, that's a great question. They do have to have some of them have to have prerequisites. So to pick your career. So after you've picked your career, then you're going to select aim or feint plus 1 other universal exploit of your choice. And so let's flip back to that page where these things are on page 70. And so aim or feint, real quick, aim or feint are these exploits that give you, they both give you a 1d6 bonus to your attack rolls. Feint is for melee attacks, and then aim, of course, is for ranged attacks. And so you're just going to pick either feint or aim. So depending on the type of character you're trying to make, there you go. You can pick one of these plus 1 other universal exploit that you qualify for, because some of them have like attribute or other type of requirements. So, and you can flip through, they kind of have a catalog of these. You see here like this one called Death from on High requires the skill charge. So you would have to have that. Some of them require you to have like your agility at 7+ before you can have that. So you wouldn't be able to purchase that if your agility is not high enough. And so, yeah, it's just right there in front of you. It tells you what you need to have. And so it's like a nice little catalog that you can read through and see what would really fit your character. And I really dig that. Bear over on YouTube. Hi, nerd. What is up, Bear, my dude hiding in the woods? Good to see him. Good to see you, man. All right. So yeah, that's easy enough. We're going to select our aim or feint plus one other universal exploit. And then next, we're going to choose one trait based on your highest or lowest attribute, and note that in your descriptor. What the heck are they talking about, right? Well, when you got all your attributes and you've added up your career stuff in there and you've added up your species bonuses and all that kind of stuff in there, you're going to look at all your attribute points and you're going to look at your highest one and your lowest one. And they have a little chart here for you. And so if your, let's say your highest was agility, okay, they give you this little descriptor here for you, or this trait called either nimble or deadeye or ambidextrous, okay? And if let's say agility is your lowest, then you're going to be either clumsy or lame. Or let's say intelligence is your lowest, you're going to be naive or distracted, okay? And so you kind of follow that chart. Either choice that you pick, though, either highest or your lowest, either one is going to give you an advantage of some sort, okay? And you kind of go through like you can be an alcoholic, which I thought was funny. So it says you're usually drunk. While this can impair your judgment, it also enables you to shrug off injury. You gain +2 soak when intoxicated. Or it could be ambidextrous. You do not suffer the usual negative 2d6 penalty to attacks made while dual wielding a double weapon or a secondary offhanded weapon. And so once you figure out which one of these you are, like I said, you can either pick your highest or your lowest, and then go through here and read your highest and lowest, choose which one you want to be. Then you're going to have some type of bonus for that. Yeah, feint, F-E-I-N-T. Yes, feint. Not faint, not like you're passing out. No. Let's see. So this is kind of going to go back to that descriptive sentence that they wanted you to fill out, right? So judges have to choose their highest attribute, kind of like a little note here, because they say that a judge definitely wouldn't have made it through cadet school if they were using their lowest attribute as a trait. They would have been laughed out, right? They're not going to make it. So yeah, but using this trait is going to go right into that descriptor sentence that we had earlier. And so you just pop it in there, right? Now we move on to calculating your derived statistics. And it just sounds so complex and it's almost intimidating a little bit, right? Your derived statistics. And so what are they talking about here? So this is where you're going to run some calculations to determine your skills and your derived statistics, and you're going to calculate each of these sections in this little chart here. You're going to calculate health, speed, carry, initiative, defense, mental defense, and vital defense based on your attributes and your skills that you noted earlier, okay? And you're gonna kind of calculate these and note them down on your character sheet. Each one is calculated just a little bit differently, and they have them broken down really easy for you to do right here in the book, each section. But for example, carry, like basically how much you carry is going to be equal to your strength plus your endurance times 10. And this is going to give you how much you can carry in pounds, okay? If you happen to have the carry skill along with it, you're going to add that to that as well before the multiplier, okay? So your skills can kind of help you out there too. And so you're just going to go through and do each one of these. Like initiative is, it's equal to your intelligence dice pool, right? What was one of the other one? Speed was your, Speed is equal to the size of your strength dice pool plus your agility dice pool. So you just run through each one of these and go ahead and do this. And it doesn't sound like you're going to be doing them all the time. Only when your attributes or your skills might change, then you would have to kind of go back and recalculate that one real quick. But for the most part, once you do it once, it's not going to change until your attributes or your skills change. And so that's kind of cool. I can deal with that. Kind of one-time math. You know, that's not bad for me. I can deal with that for sure. Sean says, I'm okay with calculations if the formulas are simple. Yeah, man, I'm the same way. And these are very simple. These are like, your endurance plus your agility times 10 or something like that. It's really easy stuff. So, no algebra here. So that's cool. That's cool. All right. So after you've calculated your derived statistics, it's just so complicated sounding. Maybe we can come up with like a better word for that. But, yeah, you're calculating your stats, but yeah, I don't know. after you've done that, you're going to now determine your character's age. And so now we're going to flip back a little bit. So you can see we're kind of flipping back and forth in the book a little bit. So if you're just reading the book, it doesn't follow the steps. You have to kind of read the chapter, go back, and then follow the steps while you're flipping pages, right? Flipping forward, flipping back, and whatever. And that's what I found a little bit cumbersome. But in Judge Dredd, your age is determined by the total of your character's years in each career. And I didn't see this explained a whole lot in the book, but I noticed that in the careers, like for Riot Squad, for one of the careers, it says 1d6 years. So I'm assuming that you're supposed to roll 1d6, and that's going to tell you how many years that you were in that career. And they were talking a little bit about grades and stuff earlier, and I wasn't sure exactly what they meant by grades either. I went through here twice, unless I just missed it. I didn't see what they meant by grades, unless that's just equal to years. I don't know. So anyway, something I'm going to have to, hopefully it'll tell me some more about later on in the book. But yeah, when you're calculating your age, it's basically you just add up all the different, the total of your character's years in each career. And you're basically going to fall into one of three categories. You're going to be either young, you're going to be an adult, or you're going to be old. Okay, and they have a little chart here that shows you, how many years old is and how many years young is and all that kind of stuff. But if you wind up in young or old, then you're going to have your own unique little bonus that you get. If you're an adult, I didn't see any bonus that you get at all. So young or old have the bonuses. You're adult, you don't. Kind of cool. Young, you get to choose that like once per day that your dice are exploding dice. And so any sixes that you roll, you'll be allowed to re-roll those, keep the value and re-roll. So that's kind of cool. Now, if you're old, you can choose once per day to be a careful dice pool. I kind of like that, careful dice pool. I want to roll carefully. And this is kind of the opposite. Like if you roll any ones, you can actually re-roll the ones and replace the new value with the one, or replace the one with the new value. That's what I meant. But if you roll any ones, like on the second time, those are just ones, man. You're out, right? You had your re-roll. That's it. So that's kind of cool. Your age does have some type of impact in there. So that's kind of neat. And then finally, we're going to we're going to move forward to equipping your character. Now, judges have a set amount of equipment that are basically kind of like assigned to them for their patrol, right? And you can get extra gear for use on special cases like investigations or something like that through like a requisition. So you can get additional gear if you need it if you're a judge, but most of the time judges have most of the gear that they need. Now other characters they're gonna roll to find out how much money that they're gonna start off with, and then you can kind of flip through the equipment section. Equipment chapter and buy what you need. And that's pretty much it for creating your character. Like I said, I did have a little bit of difficulty in the chapter. I did kind of get it figured out. And one of the things that they did was really neat. Where is this? Page 85. Yeah. One of the things they did was pretty neat was, they added a sample character creation comic in here, right? Remember earlier they did the comic on, the sample role play, which I really loved. Well, here they did a sample character creation comic in the same way, where they kind of tell you step by step how this person's creating their character, and they create a little comic and art that goes along with it. I think that was kind of cool. And it did help me understand kind of the bigger picture. I would like to see like maybe some page numbers or section numbers added to this comic too, so that I can go, what are they talking about here? Are they talking about when I add my trait or when I add my career? And that way I could easily flip back and read that section real quick and then go back to my comic and go, okay, now I get it. So I think that'd make it just a little bit better, but it's still a great idea. And it really did help me when relating this information to you guys. So why is this, my thing's all crazy now. There we go. Yeah, my sound just went all nuts for a second. Anyways, that's how you create a character in Judge Dredd. And the chapter, like I said, it was a little bit of a mess, I have to confess. But if you follow the steps that they outline for you, you're going to make it through. And after the first time creating a character, it's going to become super duper easy with you. It's not going to be a problem whatsoever. Just that first time, have a little bit of patience with it. Like I said, But that's it. That's it. If you have any questions, go ahead and throw them down in chat. If you're watching this back, go ahead and throw them down in the comments section. I'm always sure to check those back. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe for me and hit the like button. I appreciate it on Facebook, Twitch, everywhere you are. Hit that like button. I appreciate it. Sharing it. I love you guys for sharing my stream so much. And I do put a lot of work into these things. So I definitely appreciate it. If you're on Twitch, hit that heart button for me. And I think that's it. On Friday, we're going to be going over the mechanics section. Okay, I'm going to learn how to play the game. We're going to learn how to get into these dice rolls and learn all about doing skill checks and how difficulty works and all that kind of fun stuff in the Judge Dredd RPG. So yeah, it is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So yeah, that's it for me tonight. I will see you all on Friday, 5 o'clock. Y'all have a great one. Bye.